Hello, my name is Dale Cover, and my project was on the effects of acid rain on plant growth. Acid rain is rain or any form of precipitation that has a pH of about 4.3 to 4.4. The pH scale is used to measure the alkalinity or acidity of a substance. The lower the pH, the higher the acidity, and the higher the pH, the higher the alkalinity. Acid rain is caused by emissions of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, which react with the water in the atmosphere and produce acid rain. The sources of these emissions are burning fossil fuels, vehicles, heavy equipment, manufacturing, and oil refineries. The problem with acid rain is that it may affect plant growth, budding, flowering, leaf abscission, photosynthesis, metal processes, sorry, metabolic processes, pollen behavior, and yield of crops. The purpose of this project was to simulate acid rain to see how changing the pH of water affects plant growth. The hypothesis was if the pH of water is more acidic, then the growth height of the plant will be decreased. The materials used was a pH meter, Mel's mixed soil, plastic potting cups, seeds, distilled water, vinegar, beakers, a ruler, grow lights, and a grow tent. The pH meter used was the Dr. Meter pH 100, and it uses a glass electrode to measure the pH of solutions. Acid rain was simulated by preparing a mixture of distilled water and vinegar to get a pH of 4.3 to 4.4 using a pH meter. Three groups of two radish plants were watered daily or every other day. One plant watered with the acidic water and the other plant with distilled water, which is the pH of about 5.6, similar to clean rain. Originally, I used three types of plants, tomatillos, onions, and radishes, but the tomatillos and onions did not germinate well, so I needed to plant more radishes to increase the sample size. Here on the left, you can see me thinning one of the plants, and on the right, you can see the four groups of radishes that I planted. Unfortunately, one of the groups of radishes, you can see the acidic cup did not germinate, so I was not able to use that group in the results. The results showed that the plants watered with acid water had a higher percentage of growth height compared to the plants watered with distilled water. Group 1 with 35.3% versus 15.6%, Group 2 with 127% versus 120%, and Group 3 with 127% versus 122% respectively. Here are the data charts for each of the three groups, and using percent of change, the acid water plants all had a higher percent of change, a higher percent of growth. In conclusion, the results did not support the hypothesis that if the pH of water is more acidic, then the growth height of the plant will be decreased. Factors that could have affected the results are the variation of growth in living things, the small sample size, and an insect infestation, which could have negatively affected the growth of the plants. While watering my plants, I observed bugs planting eggs and just wandering around on the plants, and I think that could have negatively impacted them. Some improvements I could make to this experiment are using plants better suited for growth height experiments, using a larger sample size, and better germination methods. The good thing about the radishes were that they were able to grow quickly, but the bad thing about them was that I don't think that they were very well suited for growth height experiments. The effect of acid rain on plant growth and development is important because air pollution from cars and burning fossil fuels create acid rain, which can be harmful. If the environment, including plants, are affected on a large scale, it can disrupt ecosystems. By reducing pollutants, we can decrease the effects of acid rain. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something.